allowed to make their own decisions. And I put out there between the age of 8 to 17. And the reason that we wanted to talk about this is because we actually saw a show where this where this where I'm sorry, I'm going to turn this down. Where this 10-year-old wanted to have gender realignment surgery. So I called Key and I was like, Key, I think we should talk about this. And she was like, oh, I don't know, it'd be a little touchy if we do. So Key, do you want to go ahead and give your viewpoints on what you think if parents should let their kids make a decision?
Sure. I absolutely think they should let them make a decision, but it's depending on what decision we're talking about. You brought up the fact about you saw a show and you reached out to me and we discussed it because you were talking about gender realignment. Now that
at the age of 10.
That would be a bit much. I don't think I would let you make that type of decision. But I do sometimes, depending on the scenario, depends on the story, depends on the situation. I think sometimes kids can make their own little decision with your guidance. I would put it like that.
Like, what kind of decisions do you think that they should be able to make with guidance?
How would you go where? No.
I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think that,
it just depends. It can be so many different decisions because your age, your age range you put out there is such a long range to me. So to me, like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 12, they may have a little difference than a 15, 16, 17.
Well, I feel like if you are in my house, well, okay, for the people that's just joining us, we're talking about should children be allowed to make their own decisions. And I put out there that the age group is between 8 to 17 because some people were saying, what's the age group? And so the reason that this topic came about is because I was watching the show and I saw where this 10-year-old went to her parents because she wanted to have gender realignment surgery. And I reached out to Key. I said, hey, I think we should talk about that because that seemed like it's an interesting topic. And with the way that the world is today, let us put out this disclaimer. Your child, your rules, your house. We're not trying to tell you what to do. We're not trying to force our views on you or anything like that. We just wanted to have open dialogue on, do you believe kids should have the right to make their decisions? I just feel like when it comes to something as drastic as that, we're supposed to guide our kids. And what happens if that kid grows up, have that surgery that they want at the age of 10, and then when they get 16, it's like, oh, mom, I don't want to be a boy anymore. I want to be a girl. But you invested all this money, and now they're stuck. So what do you think about that? Fallon says some decisions, not all.
That's what I agree. And then we have on Instagram, is that, if I'm pronouncing right, is that Tina? 1211 said no. Can you give me a little more information on that, Tina? You said no, but no to what G is talking about, the gender, or you just mean no, your kids cannot make a decision, period?
Well, I think, and like you said, I think we have to be careful at some decision making. So they can choose what they want to wear to school. Sometimes they can choose what food they want to eat. If I'm not cooking, they can say what TV show they want to watch if I'm not watching one. I just feel like kids need guidelines, right? In this world, we have to follow rules. And if we're not giving structure to our children, I think we're setting them up for failure. I had this conversation with one of my coworkers. Her daughter is 3 years old, and she says she's more of a consultant than she is a parent. She wants her 3-year-old to make decisions. And I'm like, well, what type of decisions is a 3-year-old really making? And she was like, well, I don't want to argue with her about the clothes she wears. I said, well, that's kind of different. I don't think you're arguing or anything like that about the clothes. But at 3, I'm in charge of you. Now we're just running to the store. You want to wear some cowboy boots with a dress? If you're a girl, you want to wear that, I'm fine with that. You can do that. So Shindy Franklin, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. She said God made the gender decision. I agree with you. It's just this world that we're in. Society. I mean, I don't know, Key. I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to offend anyone with the subject that we're talking about because we're talking about gender realignment surgery at the age of 10. I to each his own. You do what you want to do. I just think when you're that age, I think as a parent, you should be guiding your child to say, let's think about this. You have your whole life ahead of you. You don't know what you want to do. You don't know who you're going to become later on in life. So let's really talk about that. And if this is your first time joining us, we're an interactive show. So we like for you to type your comments. We reply back to your comments and you give your viewpoints and we give our viewpoints. Monica said it really depends on what they're trying to decide. Well, gee, got it. I agree.
Right, and Tina was responding back to us. She was saying major things when we made the topic, told the topic of, can your kids make a decision? I asked her to reiterate when she just said no. She said major things, and then she was responding to your point when you talked about the gender realignment. She mentioned a sex changes forever. Give them the option to revisit it at a different age, like when they can pay for it for themselves.
I agree, because if you can pay for it yourself, that means that you are mature enough to make that decision. But if you're coming to me at the age of 10 years old saying that you feel like you're trapped in the wrong body, I don't think you should ever not talk to your children. I don't think you should shut the door on them like this show that's coming out. What is it called? Trap?
About the young lady went to tell her mom. I think it was a Lifetime movie we were speaking about. We saw the commercial, and I think it's been on before, but it's going to re-air. It looked like on Thursday, where the young lady was telling her mom, I think I like girls, and she told her to get out. And then I think some of the commercial did show it. I guess they were trying to beat it out of her. But I think it was talking from a woman's standpoint. If I read the description of the movie or the show, well, I guess it's a movie, most of it in the show, that it talks about, I guess, it must have something to do with their faith.
Yeah, I mean, we're not just talking about gender realignment surgery or anything like that. Do you feel like your child at 12 years old, 13 years old, or whatever age should have plastic surgery? That was a big thing with the celebrities. And, we have all these Instagram models that these kids are looking up to. And it's like, how do you corral that? How do you say, look, that's for TV, that's for them. For you, for my household, this is what you're gonna do, And I was watching some show, and this little girl was 15 years old, and her mom gave her a boob job and a nose job, and I'm just like, you don't even know who you're gonna be at 15. Your looks are gonna change drastically. So why would you go do something like that? Why would your parents allow you to do something like that? I'm not judging anyone parenting skill or anything like that. I'm just saying, as a parent, how do you handle that?
Well, I guess though we can put out there. So the question is, should you let your kids make a decision based on the age range you gave, 8 to 17? So I guess I can flip the script and say, if you're one of those parents or people who decides or wants your child to make a decision at that age.
What type of decision, Key? Because you said make a decision.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I was about to ask. So what would be some of the things, if you're okay with the kid saying, yes, my child can make that decision at that age bracket. So my question would be, what can they make a decision on if you're for kids making a decision? Because some people feel like, yes, I want my child to express themselves. I want them to be able to think on their own, So what type of decisions could your child make at that age bracket? What type of decisions could your child make?
At 18? At 8
through 17, whatever bracket that is.
The decisions I told him to make.
Oh, okay. So he couldn't make any decisions at all?
I'm not going to say he couldn't make any decisions.
Right.
I'm just saying,
in your mind,
if there are decisions, they're not drastic decisions.
Okay.
I mean, he can say, Mom, I want to go to the store. I mean, you should allow your kids to express themselves. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying anything that causes cause money or cause for you to do something different to your body, or you just saying that you want to do something that I feel is not helpful or not good for you, I'm going to step in and guide you.
Okay.
So I don't know, what type of decisions he can make. He can decide what he wants to eat for breakfast. He could tell me he wants McDonald's instead of Burger King. He could do stuff like that. He could tell me he doesn't like this shirt, he likes that shirt, but when it comes down to if I'm buying him a car or something like that, he can't tell me he doesn't want that car. He can't tell me that. So Pamela said, God made us who we are. I hate our society. Parents are in charge of their children until 18. It makes me so angry. I am so worried about my grandchildren, what they will face.
You said that was from Danica?
This is from Pamela, yeah.
And Danica was saying, when we were talking about, when I asked, well, what if you're that type of parent to say what decision you will let your child make? She put simple things: what to wear, cartoons, what to eat, earrings, or nah.
Nothing major, right?
Exactly.
And Fallon said Kylie Jenner got a whole new look for the better. Absolutely. So, Key, do you want to comment on something that Pamela said when she said, God made us who we are? I hate our society. I know you're really big on it's always our society. This society is really taking over. And it's like, what do we do? Pamela, how do we help these kids that are lost? Key, Pamela, you guys talk to us.
Yeah, just like you said, I do say, a lot of it is our society, and that's why you always hear the comment start at home. But I think it's kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to kid and decision making. Like we all can agree, a majority of us out here that's listening or tuning in, or us ourselves, major situations or issues, yes, I probably would definitely want to help guide them. Certain things, I know sometimes some parents probably feel, you're my child, you can't have a little voice. I can say you're to follow me or to do what I do, things of that nature. I just feel you have to understand and do that fine line. We know society is some of society, and some of the kids are being raised by what they see in society. So I think a lot of time it is an issue when it comes to society, but at the same time, we do want to give them that little independence, teach them early how to do decision making, because that's a tool that you're teaching, that skill set. You're teaching that child how to make decisions, but it still goes back to how do you make sure you guide your child with the right decision making on a certain major? Because that parent, just what you saw with the parents doing plastic surgery for their children, or gender realignment.
Yeah.
What is
it's
it?
Gender realignment. Yeah.
So the thing is that parent thinking or not thinking? Is that parent trying to be their child's friend, or is that parent? Because like I said, no one is trying to knock anybody's parenting. We all understand parenting is hard, and you try to do the best thing for your child, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right.
But when people are letting their children make that decision, well, you're helping them, because you can't go sign the papers on your own at that young age. What do you think is going through that parent situation? What do you think a child could actually tell that parent for them to make something major like that? What could your child come and say to you to help for you to be okay with helping them make that decision?
Well, at first, I feel like we have to establish some boundaries, right? Freedom of expression is one thing. I believe you should be able to express yourself. I believe you should be able to talk to your parents about how you're feeling, what you're going through, etc. But like you just said, you have to guide them. You have to mold them. You have to make them see things in a different way. You have to make them see things, I'm going to say your way, because they're in your house. So you are responsible for that child until they turn 18. So it's up to me as a parent, because everything falls on the parent at this point. So it's up to me, or it's up to you, or it's up to the dad, or whomever as a parent to say, no, I don't think this is right for you right now. I think we should think about this long term.
Mm-hmm.
And then once, if you still feel this way, once you are of age, meaning 18, 19, you're out of the house, then we can revisit this conversation. I don't want you to feel like you can't come and talk to me,
Right.
but I don't want to condone that either because you're so young and you're still growing.
Okay.
Right. So I believe that's a whole conversation that we need to have with our children,
Right.
instead of just trying to make our kids happy, because a lot of times we just want our kids to be happy.
Right.
And so when they come to us and they're telling us these things, we're thinking as a parent, I just want my child to be happy. I don't want my child to be upset. I don't want my child to be mad at me. I want my child to love me. And if I tell my child no about something that they want, then they're going to regret me or they're going to resent me. Parents, kids love structure. You know, I have a child. They may say that they don't like structure, but we have to give structure to these children, you know, because they grow up in the world, they have structure. When they get a job, they're going to have structure. They're going to have to abide by somebody's rules. So we need to establish that at home. So just giving in to kids because you feel like that they're going to be upset or they're going to be mad at you because you're not giving in to their demands, we can't fall for the okie doke, or like they say, like the banana in the tailpipe. You know, let's not do that. And to go back where people say you can't parent your children like you were parented. Key and I had this conversation yesterday. You know, that's a lot of what people say because society is so different. Fundamentals do not change. Fundamentals are fundamentals. Is what we have. It's what we should live on. It's what we should breathe on. Please, sir, ma'am, thank you, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That all applies.
You say they at least can know the basics, right?
That's your foundation,
Just
right?
your regular stuff on that nature. And I think sometimes people feel, I guess they just feel the world that we're in today, that kids can't be raised the way we were raised back in our day because that word no longer exists. So, you know, you understand that point to a certain extent, but like you were saying, like we always speak on, you still have to have the kids have that basic foundation of being respectful. You know, if you raise your child with yes ma'am, no ma'am, some people may not believe in that, but still say yes instead of yeah, no, no, you know, just that kind of stuff. But I think we can agree to say to a certain extent, some kids can make decisions. You should let them make decisions. I think at some point, what type of decisions are you letting your kids make? Because I think that builds something up for them. Self-esteem, it could build up character, build decision making, because we know that happens on jobs. When you get older, people know how to make a decision. You get people that are so indecisive. Well, I've never done anything in my life. My mom and dad did everything for me. But you know, you at least talk to them. You may have the last word with it, but you at least give them an opportunity to make a decision and think. I'm sure we all can agree too when it comes to what Gia spoke about earlier, the whole gender realignment,
at the age of
boobs,
10, though, at the age of 10, you're going to allow your child to have gender realignment surgery. That is a major decision. And you allow your 10-year-old child to make that decision? Come on. No, I mean, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
So let me read some of the comments. Marshall said, until the child is 18, the parent is responsible for the child. We set the rules. If you don't agree, either obey my rules or get your own place. We must give them morals and values. We have to be parents, not just friends. That's what we just spoke about, Marshall. You have to be the parent. Pamela said, yes, as a parent, teach them after 18. Then if they want to make changes, that is their choice. Of course, let your child express what is important. If you don't agree, explain to your child why you disagree. Yes, children need structure. It starts at home. Children see what and say what parents say and do. Pamela say, heck no. DJ said, subject.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go Fallon, then we'll give you the subject today. Fallon said we can help guide, but sometimes they do the opposite of what we want. For example, I say no to tattoos, but my child can choose otherwise. Mesmet, I'm not sure how to Kenyak, thank you. Kenyak says my son is 22 and he still can't just do what he wants, especially if it's detrimental to him. Parents have gotten soft, and that's why media and society have gained so much influence over them. To go back to Fallon, yes, we do understand that, Fallon, that, I mean, everybody has been, or some people, you've been taught to go this way, and sometimes you do go that way. At least you were taught and know about it. So I think that's just the test of time that people are going to be guided, and we do the opposite. I think that's just human nature. And Miss Matthews or Miss Matthews, I understand. I'm not sure if it's male or female because can't really see it. You're right. I mean, some people go past that age of what we're talking about because we're speaking between the ages of 8 and 17. Yes, some parents are still very, very instrumental in their kids or young adults' lives because they're still at that age where we all been there, young and dumb, at that time. Even though you try to give them a little rope, hoping they don't hang themselves, but you want to keep it long enough to pull it back in just to help them guide their way. So yeah, you're right. Some people keep it on past that 18-year-old. And to the person that was asking about the title, you told them? Yeah. Okay, about the topic. So yeah, we understand all the comments and we thank you guys for them. But like we mentioned, or like I mentioned, I do know we should let them make some decisions, but we're talking about a wide range. We're talking from an 8-year-old to a 17-year-old. And I think it still goes back to what type of decisions would you let that age range of kids make? What type of decisions? I mean, because like I said, G brought up, for those who are just tuning in, like G brought up the fact that she saw an episode or a show or something where, and I think I might have seen some talks of this before, like on a Today Show, Good Morning America, somewhere some time ago, where a lady or a parent allowed her child to change their gender because I guess she felt that would make her child happy. And just go back to G says, yes, we want our kids to be happy, but at what cost do you feel that kids to be happy for you to change their whole gender because they came to talk to you when they really hadn't developed who they are?
Let's just keep in perspective. The child is 10 years old.
Right.
The child is 10, wanting to have gender realignment surgery. Not sure if people know what that is, or let me just explain. So she was born a female. She feels like she's trapped in the wrong body and she wants to be a boy. So that's the gender realignment surgery that she wanted to have. And that's what her parents was going to allow her to have at the age of 10 because they wanted their kid to be happy. And like I said, you shouldn't shun your kids, whatever they are, that's who they are. I believe that we should love everyone, I just feel like at that young age, you're not able to make a decision for yourself. You're not able, you don't even know what you like. You don't even know, only thing you know is Scooby-Doo on cartoons. I mean, at 10, what do you really know about anything? What did you know at 10, Key?
I mean, I think it's a lot, but not unto that parent, because love, we know videos and things travel far and near, and people, have their belief, and it's not to knock her.
I said, disclaimer.
That was what that person wanted to do, but I think that would just be very hard. That's heartbreaking to let a child so young to make a major decision about their body. I think that's hard. That's just a hard one to take. I mean, even down to the point of, when people make so many negative comments, when people do let their children make certain decisions, even when you're posting children either being silly or doing grown things and we post them on videos, that's still, I don't know, is it your decision as a parent or is it that child decision that you keep recording and putting them on doing crazy stuff that we see people do? To the fact of when, Dwayne Wade feels that their child at that age has made a decision, and I guess they're okay with it. I mean, you don't knock them, but it'll just be hard for me to be like, you sure? And I'm sure they might have had these talks. I don't know. I don't live with them. I don't know their situation. But when they posted, we're in America, the world, we're in America, so we know everybody got something to say, and we comment on it and we read and see just like everybody else. So to see that child's so young and feel he wants to, I guess, be a female or gay is very interesting. And I guess as a parent, you helping them, I guess, make that decision, or you're like okay with their decision, or it's like it would be just so hard for you to come to me and be like, this is what I feel.
Are you okay?
No.
My friend over here is struggling. Are you okay?
Yes, no, okay.
Because it seems like this topic is oh, it's sensitive. It's like, I don't know if we're treading waters here talking about this. And that's the whole thing about it.
We're sticking to the whole gender thing. It's fine.
No. Remember we said it's going to be a rock.
No, I'm not saying we're sticking. I'm just saying when you talk about it, you just want to make sure people are cool. No, I'm cool with it. I'm just saying. I mean, it's hard sometimes when you, a person that age, like I said, I'm just thinking about Dwayne Wade's family kid, like I said, to come to your parent to say, I feel like I'm gay, and because I don't think he wants to be another sex, I don't guess, but because I don't keep it with it like that. But to say I think I feel I'm gay, and you're so young, and you made that decision as a little boy, it's like, wow.
So Fallon said today's 10-year-old is not the same as a 10-year-old from the 80s or 90s.
Well, that's what people keep saying.
But what does that mean? I mean, because I don't know what that means, Fallon, when you say that they're not, that is different.
Oh, I'm glad you're a male, Kenya, and you still are. I appreciate you letting me know.
Veronica says some children are mature at 10. So Veronica, you feel like a 10-year-old should be able to make such a major decision about their body? And then I question what doctor is going to perform that procedure, because that child is still in the development stages. So how do you handle that? And I mean, it's such a touchy topic, and it's like some topics, some people are afraid to have. These are just conversations that come up, and it's like, what happens when you're approached with this? And like I say, love your children no matter what, no matter who they are. Love your children. Don't ever turn your back on your child. I'm a big fan of don't ever turn your back, unless they're trying to shoot you in your head. But still with that, it's like, asking you to take temporary chances with them. So Fallon said,
you got you, Trey. So you gonna do that 5 and 10. But
Fallon said it means that we didn't have cell phones or social media.
Fallon, I mean, I agree and disagree. I mean, we had cell phones. Social media wasn't prevalent like that. However, just because we have cell phones, you still don't have to give an 8-year, 9-year-old a cell phone, though. You know what I'm saying? You still can have a life. But I understand what you're saying in a sense like that. But you're right. It's different on what they see and what they see, especially on TV, because a lot of times you didn't see same sex. You barely saw an African American in the show, let alone a same sex. So yeah, when you get to that point, I do agree with you on things of that nature. But a lot of times we give kids too much as well too for them to see a lot of that stuff.
Well, like I had this conversation with one of my friends yesterday, and we were talking about this topic, and he said it's just like, Lucy and Lucy. You never saw Ricky and Lucy sleep in the same bed together. They had twin beds because it was taboo for both of them to sleep in the same bed on TV back then. Like you say, the 70s and 80s or whatever years you put out there, Fallon. And now,
90s.
And now today, it's like we see everything on TV. So it's like it becomes more acceptable to, see all these different things on TV. But a lot of times I believe we as parents are we're letting the TV raise our children instead of us raising our children because it becomes easier. And I know, we probably working 12, 15 hours a day and, we're tired. And by the time we get home, we're cooking, we're doing all this. And our child is sitting in front of the TV or, watching YouTube or doing all these things. And we're allowing TV and YouTube to raise our kids. Veronica said, just like making a decision to have a child. So Veronica, at the age of 10, do you really think that that child has the right to make the decision? Because I'm thinking maybe the child was raped or, something happened like that at the age of 10. You said the way they are raised, knowledge, educated, life lessons, anything is making them who they are. Keith, you have anything to say?
Well, everybody's right in a situation. I just think sometimes when it comes to, like I said, we're talking about kids making decisions. We all can agree major decisions, a lot of us probably would not let our kids do that. But I think you should let your kids make some type of decisions. Just let them understand how to make decisions. But like I said, I know we're speaking a lot on the whole gender, and I spoke about Dwayne Wade's son letting him. Apparently, I guess he went to him and told him he felt that he was gay, and apparently they're okay with it because they posted in a sense of a way of they're supporting him, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So that may not be your thing, and that's okay. But it's to the point of back to what you guys are saying with the whole social media. It is, but how do we move forward from that? Because social media is not going away. Phones are not going away. So we did things coming up that, that was probably the same way. We saw things we were not supposed to see. But still back to the point of, should kids make these decisions? They shouldn't. Why? If they should, what should they make decisions on? Because we know, like I said, let a child change their body, change their sex. That's just a tough one for me, for a parent to do that at that young age. Even to the point of breast augmentation or the point of having lips done and all that kind of stuff, because you just have so much that you're not letting that child grow up to have a mind of their own. Monica was mentioning it's really no wrong answer for this topic because everyone has their own view, and that's correct. And that's why I guess it's hard to kind of give where I'm trying to go with it, because I know people are going to have their own views about it. But some things you can get to a point where I think it's just that's a bit much, on some situations, on some decisions that parents may let the kids make that decision. But you're right on that. There's no wrong, and I'm not sure, and we're not trying to make it right or wrong.
No, not at all.
We're just trying to understand, like, should they do it? And I guess it's not a blanket yes or no, even though it's posed that way. It's a yes, they can in certain circumstances, and no, I don't think they should in other circumstances. Kenyatta mentioned you hit the nail on the head. The less influence you make on your kids, the more influence TV and social media gains. And you'll have to be foolish to not know what that means to any child's future. Absolutely.
Michelle said there are age-appropriate decisions which should be lessons and help them to develop, but life-altering changes such as sex or surgery needs to be discussed and depending on a family or a child. And that's what we said, Michelle. It's like, okay, I'm not trying to sway you into not embracing who you are. Only thing I'm saying is at the age of 10, I think we should have a conversation, because I don't ever want you to feel like you're not loved, right? And I believe that's why some parents give in to the kids when they come to them. And actually, that's what the mother said on the special that I was watching, that she wanted her child to continue to love her. And if she didn't go along with it, then the child would hate her. But I just feel like at 10, I don't care if they hate their parents. At 13, you hate your parents. At 14, you hate your parents. You make all these other decisions for your kids. Why not make that decision? Why not say, we're going to table this until you turn 18 or 19, and then we'll revisit this conversation. Not saying you shouldn't be who you are, you shouldn't love the body that you're in or anything like that. I'm just saying that we will table this topic until you turn at least 16, 17. You know, at 10, I don't think you should have, I don't think you should do that. You know, I think that we should have a conversation, and everything starts with a conversation. To Michelle's point, everything starts with the conversation. She said exactly. At that point, you're legal. You can legally take control. Absolutely. And let me put it out there. I would love that my child felt comfortable enough to come to me and have that conversation.
Right.
You know, I want to say that I feel like if you are having those conversations, that means that your child feels comfortable enough with you to come to you, and they're not really worried about what society is saying or anything like that. So I applaud the kids for doing that. I just think as parents, as adults, we have to school our kids on topics like that. We have to school them on, you know, no, your nose is not, maybe your nose is big. I'm changing it. We're going from gender realignment to like plastic surgery. And so, because Key mentioned that she saw something on TV where this girl had boobs. I think we both said that, where she wanted her boobs done and a nose job. And her mom gave that to her as a gift at 16. I mean, your nose is going to spread. You're going to gain weight. You're going to lose weight. You're going to do that, this, that, and third. You're going to look completely different.
If I get it fixed.
But it's like, okay, so you don't even know how you're going to look at that age. Because how you look, well, I know I don't look the same at the age of 12 to now. I mean, I don't look the same. Your body goes through changes. It's called life lessons, life experiences, life disappointments, life agreements. Our body changes. And if you're allowing your child to make those decisions at such an early age, sometimes we're hurting them more than we are helping them.
Yeah, I would think so. Keon said, asking the ones that think it's okay. Okay, then he says, can they make the decision of getting pregnant that early too? Can they make the decision of getting pregnant that early?
What do you mean, can they make that decision of getting pregnant that early? I mean, because that's rape, you know, so that's something totally different. And in America, I don't know about any other countries, you know, at the age of 10, you can't give consent to have sex with anyone, not that age, not, you know, there's state laws, and the state laws are different, and you know, we don't want to get into that because we don't know all about that. But I know at the age of 10, I believe if you got someone pregnant, you should be in jail. That's my personal belief, because you have raped someone's daughter.
Well, I mean, we understand people have babies at 13 and 14.
We said 10.
You said 10 on what?
I was talking about 10. Well, you're right. I'm sorry.
So he didn't say what age.
He did.
He just said, can they make the decision of getting pregnant that early too?
Well, what age are you talking about, Keon? I mean, it's still early. Okay. I wonder if the people that feels it's okay to change their gender feels as if they can make the decision on pregnancy too. I mean, how old is 10 really? So he's talking about a 10-year-old.
Oh, okay. Whew, well, you know, we do know some 10-year-olds look like they 12, but no, they can't make that decision. No, 10-year-old needs to be a child. They need to live like a child, make decisions like a 10-year-old, meaning play with your toys. So no, I don't think they should be able to, you know, make a decision like that. So, but G was thinking, well, I thought you mean a little older, but I get it that you guys stuck on 10. But we do understand some young ages do get young girls get pregnant at an early age. But no, as a 10-year-old, I don't really know what kind of decisions a 10-year-old could make besides I want this sneaker, this type of shirt, this type of pants, this type of food. So no, I wouldn't feel that they can make that decision on that because, I mean, no, no, not at all.
Right. And so, like we said, we don't want to, that this is not to offend anyone, you know, it was just something that we thought we wanted to talk about, you know, just to see how society is today, you know, and how forgiving and how giving we are to these children because we don't want them to be mad at us. You know, we want them to be our friend. And so
Do you think everybody's doing it because they don't want to be friend? A parent that does that? Do you think? I'm sure that person, that lady, probably is not the only one that's let her child do that. I'm sure it's not a great number, but I'm sure it's more than one or two.
What do you mean?
So you just said be their friend. So you think everybody who does that want to be their child friend?
I think the people who are doing that don't want their child mad at them. So I don't want you mad at me. So I'm going to give in because I feel like maybe I'm going to lose my child if I don't do this. You know, so maybe friend, maybe maybe that's not the right word, but I feel like you don't want your child mad at you, you know, and maybe you don't want your child to be upset. You know, maybe it's a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I still believe 10 years old is too young to make such a life-altering decision. We can talk about it, we can have conversations. I can guide you along, you know, from the age of 10, you come to me up until you're 18. Let's continue to have dialogue about it, you know, and if you really feel that way, by the time you turn 18, 19, then let's start talking about other things. But at the age of 10, we need to be having conversations about, do you want this Barbie doll for Christmas? Do you want this townhouse? Because at the age of 10, what grade are you in?
That's heavy conversations.
Right. What grade are you in at 10?
I don't know. Fourth, fifth grade?
I don't even know if you're in the 5th grade. Does anyone know what grade you're in when you're 10 years old? Maybe like the 2nd or 3rd grade? No, maybe that's 6th or 7th. Maybe the 4th grade. I don't know.
I don't think that's the 6th.
I don't know. You're right.
In the 2nd grade. Oh my God.
You're right.
We need to be talking about that. What happened to your 10 years old in the 2nd and 3rd grade?
You're right. You're right.
I think at 6 years old, your 1st grade, 7 years old, your 2nd grade, 3rd grade, you're 8. That's like our 4th, 5th, I would think.
Fowler, Monica, someone. How old are you? Monica said 5th grade. Okay.
I think they were about 5th, about that time. Yeah.
So what's that, middle school?
That's where I come from. That's elementary.
Well, now you know how they have it now.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't know. Then kids on 5th grade, stuff like that. But no, I do, agree with you on that part. I think it's a lot. I think, like I said, like Monica mentioned, like we had the same mindset as well. It's not about a right or wrong answer.
Absolutely.
It's just about, it's very interesting to hear these kind of stories because we get it and we understand you can't raise children in the times we're in. We see that and we understand that. However, we still know there is a good and bad side to every comment or every scenario that's spoke about. Because a person that says, no, you can't raise them in the time we're in because that's not we don't have that word, Lord. Yes, that could be true at the same time, but as you and I always say, you still can give them basics. You still can keep the respect. You still can instill values. You still can instill in them morals. So that doesn't go away.
Right.
So I think that it's a double edge. So yes, you can't do that part, but yes, you can do this part. Yes, to see that going on right now as G speaking, because we had happened to get stuck on the whole gender thing and whole cosmetics things of doing this to these kids. That still is a bit much. Again, it's not about a right or wrong, your kid, your money, your life, but it is a bit much because sometimes I just think you don't give kids the opportunity to really think on it on their own, because we can decide and say what we want all the time coming to you as a parent. Mom, I want this. I think I want this. I want to do this. Well, that's what I wanted at that time. So I don't know what I want later on.
Right.
Because I am a little person that can think. Hopefully You're teaching me how to think.
Right.
So yes, I'm going to come to you with a lot. But back to what everybody's been saying, you still have to guide them. You're still that adult. You still have to help them. I come to you with what I thought, what I want, what I think I want, what I may want, what I'm going to tell you I want. How your child is coming to you, because we know some kids are little brats, but it's I think it's you as the adult, male or female, man or woman, to hear that child and help guide that child and understand where the child got that from. Because first I'd be like, why do you think you want to do this? Where did you get that from? Then it's back to when Fallon mentioned the society of cell phones, social media, TV, like G said, that's helped growing our kids up or babysitting our kids. So you wonder where they get it from, and then how do you find a way to, once you tell them, now this is not what we go do, or as you mentioned earlier, we're gonna sit back and now you come back to me in about 5 years. Let's think. Not that mama's not gonna hear you out,
Right.
but let's talk about this about 5 years and see where your mind from. But in the meantime, I'm trying to find out where you're getting this from. Then I'm trying to make sure those resources that you use, that you're getting it from, we need to move that out of your life and find out where you're getting it from.
Right.
But we also know too, this day and time, it's in the schools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost, you can't shelter your kid unless you homeschool them, I guess. Then they still have TV. So it's almost hard to not let them not see any of the stuff that goes on. But we know it's everywhere. But I think you also need to find out where did they get it from? What made you think of this? Like probe that child to be like, why do you think that? What makes you feel this way? Where did that come from? You know?
So you mean ask questions?
That's asking those questions.
Melinda BJ said, I have a Gen X daughter and 2 millennial sons and 1 millennial granddaughter, and the only decision they were able to make was what color tennis they wanted to wear. The boundaries were set when they started crawling. And that's what we mentioned earlier, Melinda. It was like teaching the basics. You know, we have to have some boundaries, you know, when kids are growing up. We have to teach them, you know, right from wrong, this and that. And I'm not saying, you know, the way you're feeling is wrong or anything like that. I just believe when you are at a young age, it's like, I mean, I'm indecisive and I'm way past 10, you know, I'm so indecisive. Oh, I want this today. I don't want that tomorrow. Or I don't want this in the next hour.
Right.
So I'm just saying, to allow a child to do something so drastic to their body, you know, at the age of 10, it's just like, okay, let's have a conversation. You know, we do set boundaries for kids, and like you said, Belinda, you know, you make decisions, and to Key's point, we allow them to have some freedom.
Yeah.
You know, we want you to be able to think for yourself. You know, we want you to be able to think for yourself. We want you to be able to stand up for yourself.
Right.
You know, we just don't want you to just jump on the first thing that comes to mind.
Right.
But
you want to do it in the right way. You want them, and whatever right is to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's your home, your child, your decision.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. What is right to you? You know, whatever. It's just not. I just know these children need some guidance.
Right.
I know that for sure.
Absolutely.
And Kenyatt, I'm gonna go to these comments again. Kenyatt said, sometimes I use analogies to make points. I was just wondering how far the people who think it's okay are letting decision making go. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And that's why I was making the point of all the decisions. Like I said, it will start out with G saying that a mother of a 10-year-old would let that child have gender alignment. And it was just speaking on the fact that I would just put it out there to say it's okay to let kids make decisions, because G put out there the age range between a 8 through 17-year-old. So we know those age ranges are going to be handled, or should be handled accordingly,
right?
You know, based on the age range. And we just happen to get stuck on or shedded more light or made more comments about that child at a 10-year-old, a parent will let that child change their gender, which is, I just think it's very, very hard. And like G says, you know, you don't know from this morning, I woke up, I like this, and it's 5 o'clock here, and I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
It sounded good earlier. You just feel that you give that child that much decision power at that young age, something that's, well, I want to use the word detrimental, but it might not have been detrimental to them. But that's just hard for me, just to understand that. And like I said, their parent, their child, that parent. But like, how far to you go? Just like to your point, Kenya, I will be the same, feel the same way. Like, how far would you let your child make decisions, or how far once the child decides this is what they want to do? How far would you let that decision go? Because at the end of the day, in that particular case of what you've been speaking on, they still have to have a decision. They can't just go to the counter and do it themselves. You know what I mean? You still involved. You still got to sign a paper.
I mean, you have to drive them because they're kids.
Right. I don't know if only the kids feel it cool. They drive it. They on their own, but you still a part of that decision making. Even though you let them make the decision, you carried it out. You like, really? That's what we do at this day of time. So I don't know if it's not a one size fits all. It's just hard. I just know at this time it's just really hard because kids see a lot of stuff.
Right. And I mean, I applaud the kid for being comfortable enough to have the conversation with his mom, his dad. I applaud him for that, because that lets you know that they have an open door policy in their house. So feel free to talk to us about anything. You won't be judged. I just feel like, at such a young age, we need to guide our children.
Yeah.
And I know we always go back to things are not how they were back when, but some things just don't change. Some things just don't change. I mean, kid, I talked about this yesterday. You have your foundation, you build on your foundation, you find out what works, and then you tweak it accordingly, right? The foundation is the foundation. And everyone always said you can't do what you were taught or how your parents raised you or things of that nature. But we turned out okay. I mean, we made it. We're here. We're still living. We're still breathing, because they gave us basics. They gave us structure. And that's no different than in a school. When we're talking about math, we say, oh, this math is different. Oh, these teachers are not teaching the basics anymore. They're just teaching to the test.
I mean, that's true.
It is true. But we can't pick and choose when we want the basics to happen. It's like, oh, okay, I want the basics to happen when they're in school, but I can't teach the basics at home. Yeah. And so that's the only thing I'm saying when, we say we can't raise our children the way that we were raised.
Right.
And granted, we're in 2000, almost 20. Granted.
2020.
Right. Things change. But I'm just saying fundamentals don't change. You have to learn fundamentals in anything you do. Right. Your job, the way that you drive, the way that you dress, whatever, they're fundamentals. And our parents instilled that in us. So why not instill those same fundamentals in your children and let them grow from there? No, I'm not a parenting expert. Nobody was given the book when we started having children.
Right.
These little jokers, and God made them so cute, so we don't throw them away. It's just like, okay, Lord, how do I raise this child?
Right.
But I just believe that, we have to get back to what works.
Right. And that's like with the cosmetics part of it. Are you hurting? Are you harming or helping your child when it comes to that? You got this young girl making that body voluptuous, and are you giving her that false sense of who she really is? Because hey, people look at you like, I'm natural. You had to go get some stuff done.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So that can affect people's self-esteem. So when you let them go out and boost those girls from an A cup to a C or D cup, make that little waist come snatched in. Oh, but she's cute. Oh, she has the ideal body. She's 2020. But you got other people that's so cruel, kids around here saying, but you're not real.
Right.
You haven't commented on them. So I think sometimes you might put them in a situation that they probably shouldn't be in, because it sounds good when you look at the pictures and they go in there and put that circle around you and put their little black mark, and what we gonna do and cut. And then when you get through with it, but then you don't think about it long term.
Because you're 10. So
or 16.
Right.
Or
so what if I look at that long term? To your point, I mean, that's an excellent point. You're not thinking about it. because like we always say, we are in a microwave society. We want everything right now. Belinda said, right is right, wrong is wrong. The definition is still the same. It didn't change through the generations. Stop trying to fix things that are not broken. And that's, to me, that goes to the foundation.
Right.
The foundation is not broken. So let's see how we can, tweak as we're building upon the foundation. Set your guidelines and let's build upon that.
Yeah. And I guess we can agree to disagree that some decisions, I think, based on age appropriate, kids can make decisions.
I agree.
Or have a little opinions.
Yeah,
they
can voice their opinions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know, and I'm sure people are probably speaking in that sense of when they say you can't be taught like we were taught back in our day, with us telling our years and our age. Because I know we only 21. I think she's 25.
Oh Lord.
But anyway, we know we were raised as kids are to be seen and not heard. So we get it. You don't want to parent like you parent. There's nothing wrong with that, because some parenting might have been good, some parenting might have been bad. Some parenting might have a question mark. You don't know what happened in that household. But I think you take the good and the bad, and you mix it up, and then you put all that pot stirred up, and you put what works for you, and you leave what didn't work for you in there. And then you add something new to measure up to what world you're in today. However, when it comes to certain scenarios, we just feel that you still have to be that guiding force for these kids out here. That's point blank, period. It's just certain things. I just feel you have to make sure you're understanding what type of decision they're coming to you with, how to help navigate them to understand why they made that decision, or why do they want something to happen when it comes to as we're talking about, the life altering, body changing things that could hurt them down the line. Because at this moment, no, we can't foresee the future.
Right.
But you try your darndest to make sure you kind of help them understand this could happen. It may never happen. They may change and be the wonderful little girl, little boy that they decide they're going to be, and nothing happens. But we know there's a percentage. They get bullied. We get a percentage of, you look down the line, you feel insecure. We know there's a percentage of, hell, you're insecure here. It's an old person.
Right.
So we know as kids, and the bullying things that you hear when you hear all these shootings going on, that mental messes you up. So we know things can happen. So we just wanted to put out there, because we always be talking about something.
Always. And I just want to say this. Sometimes as parents, we don't have all the answers. We don't know. So we're just flying by the seat of our pants. So it's like, find someone that you can talk to. Find a support group. Maybe find someone that has gone through what this young person wanted to do at the age of 10. There are people out there that's willing to talk and share their stories with you, because we're human. We all make mistakes. It's just like, how do I help my child navigate through this thing called life when they want to make such a life-changing decision? How can I put my child in a support group so that the child can see the pros and the cons of both? Allow them to spend time with someone who's gone through that. Allow them to see the good, to see the bad, to see the in between, before you just automatically take them to the doctor. So give them some type of insight, and that's still teaching them or letting them make a decision, subconsciously, because you're putting them in situations that maybe they don't feel comfortable with, or maybe they do feel comfortable with, or maybe it's like, oh, I know this is exactly what I want to do. So that's all I'm saying. We don't know all the answers as parents. No one is perfect. Find someone that can help when it comes to things like that.
Absolutely. And let them kids make some decisions.
Yeah, let them take. Maybe they want McDonald's today, so let them go to McDonald's at 10. Let them go to McDonald's. So, I'm sorry. So with that being said, we're at the top of the hour, and we just want to thank you all for, all the support that you give us and watching us every Sunday. We just like to have fun. We just like to, bring different topics that maybe some people are afraid to shy away from. So don't take anything that, we're trying to bash anybody or anything like that. These are just our perspectives, and that's what it's about. Me sharing my perspective, Key sharing her perspectives,
and us trying to hear yours and help us change our perspective. Because we do know there's enough bashing going on right now in this world that we live in.
Absolutely.
So we know everybody get on your page and say something that ain't got nothing to do with you. So we understand that because it keeps me tickled. I'm like, why do you care?
You don't even know these people.
Right. We know how combative it can get in comments. Either you down with it or you not. It's very that simple. You can add to the conversation or you can't. Either you listen in, join in, or type in, and it's okay. And sometimes you just be wondering the minds of different people, like what would make that person do that. So you get to talking and you say, hey, you should talk about, hey, should kids have a decision? Can they make decisions? And you might say, no, you can't say it. You got miles at 25.
Right.
And that's on you.
Right.
You know, and I used to be like that because that's how you were, you felt, because that's how you were raised. You, as we were told, you're to be heard, not to be seen. They spell words over you. And you used to be like, huh?
Oh, you spelled a bad word.
Get out the room. You know?
Right.
Children with children. I grew up. You didn't sit around grown people conversations. And so it would just be, it's interesting now that you see society, you see the world, because you don't know the people they show it on the news. When these folks do all these reposting of videos and conversations, you assume it's true. So when you see things of that nature, you just assume that, hey, that's interesting. Why would they want to let their kid do this? Why do you do this? Because you're going back to your mentality.
Right. And with that being said, we won't be back next week. So we'll be back the week after. So we'll give you guys one Sunday to miss us, and hopefully you would join us again. I'm not sure what that following Sunday is.
It's after Thanksgiving, I know. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful time after Thanksgiving. And if we don't come in after Thanksgiving, we'll let you know, because we know people will be spending time with their families.
Right.
And we pray that you guys have a great rest of the week and great holiday. Enjoy your family during this Thanksgiving season.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, early from Chat and Chew with Key and G. I'm like, oh, yeah.
But we'll take her.
Yes. So with that being said, welcome to Chat and Chew with G and Key. Welcome to Chat and Chew with G and Key. I'm G.
And I'm Key.
And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Okay.
We'll
Bye. Yeah.
Continue to share the page.
Share our page, okay? Just share our page, send it out to everybody so they can be a part of the conversations. If you're on our group, go like Chat and Chew, follow us so you know when we go live.
Yeah.
Okay.
And DM us if you want to be live on the show.
Ooh, yes, please. We'd love to have guests on the show.
We want to see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.